For the past 20 years, I've had a chance to help people to get sober from all different types of drugs and behaviors, thought processes, alcohol, smoking, street drugs, prescription drugs, negative thought processes, obsessive compulsive disorders. I mean, so many different forms of addictive behavior. You know, it's just been amazing. And one of the areas that I just love to work in is sobriety from alcohol. Recovery from alcohol addiction or alcohol dependency, whatever term you choose to use. Hi, I'm David Essel. And one of the questions that comes to me all the time is when someone's thinking about getting sober from alcohol is there any way after I get sober with you and your program that I'll be able to drink moderately? And it's a great question. And everyone who struggles with alcoholism or alcohol dependency usually has that question, that desire, because you know it's kind of scary to give up something that you use whenever you're happy or excited, that you use in order to break the ice in social events, that you use whenever you're depressed or afraid or anxious, or you use when you're bored. You know, like we say with alcohol, we use it for every area of our life. There's a reason to drink. You know, and I'm not saying that to laugh for someone who's struggling right now, because I know it's not a funny issue when you're still in the struggle. When you go into sobriety, though, you can look back at these things and go, holy cow, I can't believe how I used it for everything David just was talking about. So then back to the question, is it possible after being sober for a month or a year or 10 years or 20 years or whatever it might be to go back and to drink moderately, to just drink at weddings or just on birthdays or just on New Year's Eve and, you know, just a few times a year? Or is it even possible to moderately go back and have a glass of wine with dinner? And it's a great question. And the answer that I can share with you right now from doing this work for 20 years and being involved with conferences and being involved with treatment centers is that for almost everyone that I have ever spoken to, the answer is we haven't found a way yet. Now, that doesn't mean it might not work for you. I don't know. I'm just saying that in all 20 years, I've yet to meet anyone that was able to go back and to drink moderately or to drink minimally even. And let me give you an example of something that happened not too long ago. I was working with a woman that I know very well from the treatment. I had helped her get sober over 10 years ago. And she had asked me, she'd come in one day, set up an appointment, and said, hey, I want to come back in and just sort of go over everything about what's going on. And so in the middle of a session we were doing, she said, okay, I want to stop and tell you why I'm really here. I've been sober for 10 years. Your program helped me get sober. I've followed everything that you offered me. I've been doing this work really diligently, and I think it's time that I can drink moderately. So I asked her why she thought this was the time, and she said, well, I have 10 years underneath my belt. I have a loving family that supports me. I have a great relationship now that I'm sober. And she just listed all these different things, and she said, I really think that I can go ahead and just have a drink now and then. So I said, well, did you talk to your family about it? And she said, yes, I talked to my partner, and my partner said that he would support me in whatever decision I wanted. And he doesn't drink, you know, and she said, but he said he would support me, and that if I wanted to, as long as it was in a controlled environment, meaning in their house, that, you know, he would say, sure, and as long as I didn't drive and all these things. So we spent the rest of the session talking about this, about the concept of drinking moderately after being sober for 10 years. And at the end of it, I said, well, you know, I can't condone it. I can't say, yes, definitely go and do it, you know. But I said, you know, if you think you want to give it a shot, you want to find out if you can do it, then go ahead. So a week later, I get a call, and she said, you know, is there any way I can come in and see you today? And I said, yes. And so she came in and she told me her story. She said, you know, she went to the store, and one of the first things she did was she bought 2 bottles of wine because she was anticipating that she was just going to have, you know, a drink that night or 2 drinks that night, and then another 4 or 5 days later, she'd have another couple drinks. And she went in, and her partner was there, and so they were talking, and she was laughing about how exciting it was after 10 years of not drinking that she was going to have a drink. And so finally it came to be that time at night, and she said, let's go ahead and open the wine. So they opened the wine, and he doesn't drink, and so she poured herself a glass of wine. And she said, you know, it was like the first glass of wine was amazing. She said it was really, she goes, it brought back so many laughing memories and laughters and things that, you know, she really relished about being able to sit back and relax and have a glass of wine. she said, so it was about a half an hour, and she finished the glass, and she turned to her partner and said, I'm just going to have one more. And he said, fine, as long as you stay in, you can have another glass of wine. So she had another glass of wine, and so she said, then she really started to feel this little bit of a buzz, and she said she was laughing, and she goes, I turned to my partner and said, I knew I could do this. I really knew I could. Well, she said before she really even thought again, she had another glass and then another glass, and the bottle was empty. And she said the whole time she really wasn't thinking that was a bad thing. She hadn't drank in 10 years. The last time she had drank, she could easily drink 2 bottles of wine a night, which is quite a bit of wine. She's not a very big woman. And she said before she knew it, she was opening up the second bottle. And now she said it was about 11 o'clock at night, and he said he needed to get to bed, and he said, you've opened the second bottle. And she said, by then, I said, yeah, I'm absolutely cool. So she drank half of the second bottle, and then she put the glass down and said, oh my gosh. Within one night, she was just about back at where she had stopped drinking to get help because it had turned into a huge problem 10 years earlier. So she came in the next day and we talked about it, and I said, look, there's no guilt here. I don't want you to have any guilt whatsoever. You were in a controlled environment. You were safe. You were with someone to watch over you. You tried it. It did not work. And then I went on to tell her some other stories of people that I know and have worked with that have been sober for 20 years, that have been sober for 11 years, that have been sober, and not one of them were able to drink moderately. Now, some people are going to blame this on emotional reasons, that we utilize alcohol as an escape, and so we want that unbelievable connection with the escape feeling to continue on and on and on, which is one of the reasons why we can't stop drinking, whatever we're trying to escape from. Other people will say it's the gene. In 2000, they found the gene known for alcoholism, and they'll say it's in your family, and the gene, once it's triggered and you have a glass of wine, is going to carry on and carry on and carry on. Other people I've talked to who were sober for a number of years and went back to drinking found that they could drink moderately for about a week. And then after a week, they went right back to their current level. But she sat there in amazement saying to me, 10 years ago when I stopped, I was at 1.5 to 2 bottles a day. And I can't believe the first day back in 10 years that I went right back to that level that I was at. And she said, that's all the books tell you. That's what you taught me 10 years ago. She said, everything is true. And she said, I thought I was old enough, big enough, smart enough in order to not fall victim to the disease. So, this is kind of just like one of those things that we share to people. I don't know if it's possible for anyone, quite frankly, to go back to moderate drinking once you are truly struggling with a heavy dependency or addiction to alcohol. And maybe at some point in the future, we'll find a way for people to be able to do that. Maybe there'll be some kind of a gene switch that they'll be able to do. But as far as we know right now, it's really tricky. And the thing that scares me about most clients who want to go back is that most of them want to go back out in public. They want to go and they want to drive and just have one glass of wine at dinner, or they want to do this at a wedding or whatever it might be. And if I can help you, if you're on that verge, maybe you want to get sober right now. I've been helping people for 20 years. Please contact us at talkdavid.com. Maybe you're one of those people that say, well, she only had 10 years, I have 25 years, and I think I can drink moderately. Whatever it is, contact us here at talkdavid.com prior to making that decision. If you have a friend, a family member, a lover, or someone that you know that's thinking about going back out and drinking again after they've had problems with alcohol dependency or alcoholism, please have them contact us. But share this video first. Share it with them, because we need to hear these messages. We really, truly do. And if you're in a program of sobriety, blessings to you. Stay strong with your sobriety. And don't forget to sign up for our YouTube account right here so that every video we produce will be sent right to you. Okay? Have an awesome day. I'm David Essel.